Our listeners are as important as our guests. Join in on the conversation. 504-341-8255, the New Orleans Talk Network.
Talk Network. It's today's hottest topics with an added flair. You get ready because the conversation will be hot and better yet, mobile. Download the New Orleans Talk Network app available on Android, iPhone, iPad, and you can listen to us on the web at www.neworleanstalknetwork.com. Write down our talk line at 504-341-TALK. That's 504-341-8255. Interactive and worldwide. That's what we are. Join in on the real conversation and tell a friend about the New Orleans Talk Network.
Hi, I'm Sheriff Joe Lapinto, and you are watching the New Orleans Talk Network.
Nobody gives you better conversation about your quality of life.
Let everyone know you listen to
The New Orleans Talk Network.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's a great day to be in the Lord, as Reverend Jones would say. This is Brother Al Mims. Talk what you know, hostages that fight back. We are hostages, but we're fighting back. Today, it is a blessing for me to be here, and we're going to talk about some things that are dear to me. Survival, murder, violence in our city, the metropolitan city, Jefferson Parish, Orleans, whatever. We see things happening in our community that would never happen, and it's getting worse, and some people seem hopeless. But I've talked to many of our community people, and even I had a chance to talk to Brother Mike, our engineer here at Talk What You Know, and he's helped me in some things that I'm looking at in a different way. So as we here on Talk What You Know, Hostages That Fight Back, we're going to discuss some things about making our community safer, being an example, a positive example, which I've been saying for almost 30, 40 years. I want the public to know that, I was honored by one of the local TV channels, WWL Channel 4, as a local hero. And it's nice to be recognized for what you do, but I don't do it for recognition. I do it because that's what God had put on my heart to do. And what I've found out is that, at an older age, it looks like I'm never satisfied. It seems like it become a part of the air I breathe, like I'm smothering. No matter how much I have done or I'll do, or how the community responds to my call to step up, I'm never satisfied. And I paid a price for that, and I have to change, because either something's going to happen is that Al Mims is not going to no longer exist, or, and I like to win. When I fought at the top of my game, and either I have to change my strategy or change my fighting game. So what I would invite our listening audience, who are my Facebook friends, that to call in and let me know, what do you think if you had seen the broadcast Sunday night about 10:30? It was after the football game, and that's one of many awards I won. And sometimes, I still feel clueless about, it's good to be recognized, but, there's lives. But I would like for you to call in and give me your opinion, give me your advice on what do you think what's happening in our community with our children, what's going on with our adults. You know, I look at some of the parents, and I don't know if it's a lack of parenting skills or just the way it is. I see parents walking down the streets and they're talking like brothers and sisters. They're sisters and sisters and brothers. And, you know, I don't know if that's the new way, the way things happen now. You know, it look like, you know, parents are now having no respect, you know. I would like to know your opinion. You know, you can call us, you know, at 563-999-1808 and tell us what you think. I need to hear from your heart. You know, like every night we having shootings. We having mass shootings in different cities. People are being killed. Innocent people are being killed by police. And, you know, I would like to have your opinion about what do you think the direction that society, our community is going. I just want to say to our listening audience that, you know, it's been a struggle. You know, sometimes, you know, the holidays, like we just had Thanksgiving, sometimes, you know, our loved ones who have left here, you know, we feel like, you know, we something's missing. It's like a tooth missing in your mouth, and you don't know what to do, what to think. You know, there's a lot of people, men, women, elders, who, because of violence, because of a loss of a loved one, they feel hopeless, helpless, depression. I know because I've experienced that to a degree. It's like your joy is gone, or I feel like I'm in a dark room, and I know that there's a way to get out on the wall, the doorknob, but I can't find it. And you know, it seems like no matter how much people try, they try to tell you how much you know, you should be happy, you should be joyful. You know, because of that act of violence upon your loved ones or loved ones, it's lost. And, you know, like as I said to many, that it's nothing like a parent, especially a mother, losing a child. And over my career, the last 20, 30 years, I have been to over 2,000 funerals, and that's not, you know, and that may be a low estimate. And the most memorable ones were the children, you know, babies who didn't do anything. They were innocent. Someone was sleeping in their cribs, and what was going on outside came inside. And, you know, and your life is forever changed by no fault of yours. But I just want to say to my community, I'm proud of many of our brothers and sisters who have stepped up to the plate to make a difference. You know, nobody can do this by themselves. It does, and it will always take a village. We have to have people who are not afraid to speak their mind And the greatest example is, I think, is to be an example. You know, I always talk about my dad. He had a sixth grade education. I'm not ashamed, but he had common sense. He demanded respect. He carried himself in a respectable manner, and he expected the same thing from you. What I see now in some of our homes, I call them lax atmosphere, where everything goes. You can't tell the mother from the daughter, because the respect has been just thrown out the door. I've asked people many questions, and they've asked me. We've had the different debates on borderline heated arguments about raising their children. I'm not trying to tell people how to raise their children, but many of them I see that the respect has just went out the door. So we here at Hostage That Fight Back, you would always know who is the parent and who is the child. And I don't mean that because you have a child that you would belittle them, disrespect them, but children have to know who they are and know how to interact with adults. They need to know that adults aren't adults, and children, and when I say children, that's grown children. My mother, Bro Al Mims, and I miss her. She's gone, but she told me, I'm not your friend, I'm not your boy, your girlfriend, I'm not your friend, I'm not your buddy, I'm your mother. And everybody knew, even though she looked like she could be our older sister, my mother said, no, I'm not your sister. So what I see a lot of in our communities, a breakdown of, people want to pick and choose, how they want to delegate authority. What I'm saying is, someone in my community may not like me, and they feel that they can do, or their siblings, their children can do like they want, where they want, how they want, because who I am. I don't like him because he did this, or we're unforgiving. But it doesn't work like that. It doesn't matter whether you dislike me or not. We all should be respected. We have a caller. Brother Kenneth Hall says good morning. Is he on the line? If he is, Kenneth? Okay. All right. Well, that was just a comment. Well, Brother Kenneth, I appreciate you listening, and you too have a lot to offer. You were on the show last week. You were speaking about the mindset of jail. Okay, and I'm going to have a delightful intervention. My brother Terry going to come with me, or come on and join me. As he's a blessing, and we'll on the break. Is our break coming up now? Okay, this will be our first break, and I'll be back with Brother Terry, and this is Brother Al Mims. Talk what you know, the Hostage That Fight Back, and we'll be right back. Terry.
Bravo Beats.
Time flies. What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson. And can you believe that it has been 1 year since Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions hit your airwaves? We have interviewed authors, entrepreneurs, playwrights, musicians, and everyone in between, all to bring you the best in literary conversation. And we plan to do it again this year, but only better. So join us right here in the Literary Lounge each Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on the New Orleans Talk Network.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
Are you looking for a home to live stream your next event? Give us a call here at Bethesda Community Event Center, the only place on the Gulf Coast that can host and broadcast live your wedding reception, your baby shower, business seminar, and any other special event. Give us a call at 504-708-9454 for more details.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business. Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
Listeners are as important as our guests. Join in on the conversation. 504-341. Nobody gives you better conversation about your quality of life.
Let everyone know you listen to
The New Orleans Talk Network.
This is Brother Al Mims with my brother Terry. This is a great day in the Lord, as Brother Jones would say, Reverend Jones would say. This is a great surprise. I really do need him here to help me sort out some things and make things straight. Terry, it's a great for you to be here. Hostage that fight back, and every time you show up, you show out and you bring it to another level. So, hey man, it's a great surprise. Thank you.
Thank you for having me on again today, Brother Mims. Just finished dropping the kids off at school, and normally I'm here with you on the Tuesdays. I come in and I see you have a special guest in the studio with you, so I just sit back and watch from the sideline, because those be great conversations and good shows, So we here, man. It's Christmas time. We discussing family. We discussing morals. We discussing, a lot of stuff around this time of year, and it's been exciting. And I also see that, you know, Channel 4 has done some excellent work with you in the past couple of weeks with, you know, documenting some of the accomplishments you had in the community, and, you know, you're continuing to fight for, the respect in the community and violence in the community, and leading the charge and trying to make sure that our community is safe for not just, you know, certain people, but for everyone.
Well, since and it's a blessing for you to be here, because there's some things I need to put out, and maybe you can help me with. You know, I talked to Brother Mike, our engineer. You know, I've been doing this for 30 years. I had no plan on being no advocate. You know, I wanted to fight. I wanted to publicity. I wanted the title. And then September 1987, my daddy was murdered.
Mm-hmm.
You know, murders, you know, people have been murdered since I was a baby. But it took, because the relationship, that's the thing that cracked me. I wanted, as much as I love fighting, the desire to fight, because my daddy was my leader, my friend, my entourage. There was another interest where I didn't like what I was seeing, Terry. And maybe too now. I'm 65 years old now, and, you know, high blood pressure. I look around. Last night there was a murder, shooting, killings, and no matter how much, as much as I've been honored, you know, for many awards, it seems like it's never enough. Am I putting too much pressure on myself, or on the community, or on the government? Because I know there's no so-called perfection. God is perfection. But am I putting too much pressure on me and the powers that be in government, that what we should be like?
You might be putting a lot of pressure on yourself. I mean, Brother Mims, they had, you know, if we look at the history of, you know, trying to bring our communities together, it's a tough task. It's a generational task, and it's a task that we must do as a community together. But when you put that pressure on yourself, that makes sure that fire within inside of you continues to keep burning, because pressure is not always a bad thing. You know what I'm saying, Brother Mims? Just, you know, sometimes pressure can be motivating. It can be it can go good. Pressure can be good or bad. It's all in how you handle the pressure. And, you know, being in the ring, I'm sure that was a lot of pressure, being in the ring.
Well, let me say this. One of the anchor people that interviewed me on Channel 4 asked me a question about fighting. Did I enjoy fighting? I did. But, Terry, this is crazy. The ring was different. It was easier in the ring, but in life, it's
not that easy.
It's a bitter taste, and I try to tally it up. That I think that as the entourage, I had my brothers and family members, whoever was involved in my so-called camp or whatever. We all were on the same page. We all wanted the same goal, was to win.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we had racism, we had the crowd and all this. You know, people threw cups at you and tried to intimidate you. We all knew that they would surround me and protect me and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But this fight with this murders and the violence and the disrespect in our community, it looked like, Terry, everybody got their own opinion about how it should go. We're not on the
same page.
We look, these fingers, they're all doing their own thing.
Right. And instead of working collectively to make one big fist.
Yeah, so would you help me try to sort that out, bro?
Well, first of all, Brother Mims, I'm looking at this right here. What they got on here, it says 300 for 300. And there's a picture of Brother Mims. Someone painted a picture of him. And this is This is a page from out of the newspaper that was published June 24th of this year. But there's a timeline. Y'all can't see it, but if y'all want to go look on NOLA.com and 300 for 300 article with Brother Al Mims Jr., there's a timeline on this thing that says from 1718 to 2018, but they got 1955. I guess that's when you was born.
Yeah, yes.
You know, let me try to demonstrate this for y'all. This is when Brother Mims was born on the timeline right here, and the timeline starts way back here. You know, that is a long time. And I'm looking at this timeline, and you know, from the time you was born to this part, you know, between this right here, Brother Mims, you know, your life has been it's been a journey, you know, and you know, we gonna have you. This timeline gonna extend. You follow what I'm saying? It's gonna be, you know, there's no telling what the Lord's plan is, but it's gonna be even longer than 2018. I can almost guarantee you that. I mean, you accomplish so much. It's the small victories that add up. You know, when we have those victories, when you stop something from happening, or you change somebody's life, or you know, you encourage someone to do better, those are small victories, you know, that you have, and that's all you can really do. You know, until the community decides to say, as a whole, we gonna change the way we live in our communities, the way we, you know, treat each other in our community as a whole, a collective. It just can't be in your community. It has to be the entire community, especially the entire African American community. Then we can start to move forward. But right now we stagnant. It hasn't been a lot of growth since our great leaders in the past, and you know, people like you are a leader in our community, and some people may not understand, you know, what it takes, the courage that it takes to stand up to the violence in your community, or the people who want to do harm to others in the community. It takes a lot of courage. You got to be a certain type of individual, and that's a victory in itself. You know, to have the courage to stand up and say, we're not going to tolerate this no more, and be an advocate and be a community activist and it's not like you're being an activist against others. You're an activist for your community, and it seems like you're fighting within your community to, you know, to make the community better. You're not fighting the people outside the community, you know, and that's where the real, like, I try to use these football analogies a lot. And you will hear people say all the time, you know, especially Saints fans, we winning, you know, it's a great time, you know, everybody's feeling good right now in the city because the Saints are doing well. But the Saints don't win these football games unless, you know, they winning small battles within the trenches. You know, on the line, when the defensive line and the offensive line are winning those individual battles, and you can see the bigger picture.
Okay.
Our community is the offensive and defensive line. Okay. And we got to win those individual battles so that the quarterbacks like yourself can make those passes down the field, or can turn around and hand it off to one of our young leaders in our community, and they could run that rock. But if our offense and defensive line within our community in the trenches are not working together,
that's what I'm about to tell you.
You know, we're going to lose those individual battles, and we're going to lose to our enemies that are out there and trying to keep us oppressed and struggling financially, because there is a plan to keep us poor. You know, to keep us struggling around Christmas time and trying to figure it out and pay all of these bills month to month to month. So you are part of a bigger picture, Brother Mims, and us young men, us men in the community have to be your offense and defensive line. We got to be able to win those fights in the trenches. And right now, the trenches is our community. You know, I was just talking to a young man the other day, standing out in front of the dollar store, and we was talking, well, there was an issue about him having his hood on in a store. Mm-hmm. And I was telling him, well, you know, certain stores have policies, but we got to realize policies are being implemented because of the community that we live in. You may have a problem with it. I have a problem with it. They may not do it in another community that way, but they're doing it in our community. But the fact of the matter is that the store has a problem. Mm-hmm. With theft. So us as men in the community need to start talking to the young men in the community, telling them, bro, look, I catch y'all stealing out that store. you going to have hell to play because I'm going to come get you.
Come on.
I'm going to tell the people in the store to call me if they catch y'all stealing out the store. Don't call the police, call me. Because, you know, I can reach these young kids in a way that, you know, the police
make it personal.
Yeah, make it more personal. And more young men in our, Brother Mims, you've been an advocate for nonviolence. Even before I got a chance to meet you, I saw you on the news holding up the enough signs with the baby on it and stuff like that. And I never knew it was you until I met you, and then I saw the signs. Like, I always seen that sign. That you can see it right here. This exact sign is infamous in our community. Infamous in a good way, I mean, you know, for being, you know, Brother Mims will hold that sign up, especially before Katrina, Hurricane Katrina, when a lot of babies was being shot, when people was doing drive-bys and stuff. We remember a lot of stories like that. And, you know, Brother Mims, I just want to thank you. I appreciate WL for making this article for you and acknowledging you. And you're a winner in my book. And that's how I feel.
Well, but let me ask you, Terry, why is it that sometimes that we have the friction in our community that he think he the boss, he think he own this, and that's what I've heard so much from our community, where you got the naysayers, they won't do anything. But they bring trouble. They don't bring solutions. They don't bring no answers. But they bring a problem. You know, what are we to do? And I'm saying that, bro, because I'm putting myself in a position where I'm not authority. I'm asking I'm saying, what do you see? What do you see as some answers? Because am I missing something?
I think a lot of us is missing stuff. You know. We live our lives. We try to raise our kids, protect our families, do things the right way. I just seen a report that there's 43 million African Americans in America and 120 million Caucasians in America. Within that 43 million, you would have to say a huge percentage. I would have to say out of the 43 million, I have to say about 30% make it bad for the other 70. You know, and that's a huge percentage. And within that 30%, the 70% they're not ignoring the issues at hand, but the 70 isn't saying to themselves that we are collectively, we are more than the 30. And it breaks down within our communities. There's 30% of people in our communities that don't respect the community, and the other 70 respects it, you know. But within that 70, we don't need 50% of that 70%. We need 100% of that 70 to stand up and say we're not going to tolerate this no more, because there's more of us than the 30. So if we could get 100% participation out the 70%, and say to ourselves, we're not tolerating this. We're going to have, you know, it may not be violent vigilante tactics, but we're going to have some kind of vigilante tactics to expose the 30% in our community and not tolerate this type of behavior anymore, and get that 30% out, or try to deter some of that 30% from becoming criminals committing violent acts in our community. And that's the difference between us and Caucasians. We commit violent acts. It's crucially violent acts against one another.
Come on, Terry.
You know, and that's not in a lot of Caucasian communities that you will see that. You know, they commit crime.
Oh yeah.
But there's a difference between violent crime and non-violent crime. Okay. And that's what impacts our community. Every community has crime. Every community has drugs. But every community doesn't have violent acts against one another. And that's where we, in our community, that's why we're suffering at with one another right now. The violent acts, the shooting, the fights, you know, the stabbings. Those type of acts in our community, senseless. And a lot of it is senseless. On top of that, that's what's hurting our community. That's what gives America the perception that African Americans are violent people, because of that 30% within our community. And if the 70 can say, we're not going to tolerate this no more. Look, you can't kill somebody in front, Brother Alvin Mims. You can't kill somebody in front of me without us cooperating with the authorities. I'm just keeping it real. You shoot somebody in front of me, you done messed up.
No, Terry, let me bring in some point is 3 months ago in my neighborhood, South Claiborne and Louisiana Avenue at the daiquiri shop, there were 10 people shot.
Yes.
3 of them died.
Mm-hmm.
And to today, nobody has come forward. And see the snitch thing, you know that snitch, the criminals, the bad guys put that in order to protect themselves. You know, they say snitching is bad. Who is it bad for?
I think going back in the history of it all, snitching started in the mafia, organized crime activities, where organized crime, my bosses will eliminate a snitch because of the organized crime. Now, if we was dealing with organized crime, that's something different. That's a whole nother can of worms, Brother Mims. That's an organization they got going on right there. When we have organized crime within our community that doesn't have any structure. See, the crime mob bosses will fight with one another. They will go to war, you know. But there couldn't be no bloodshed unless the word was given, you know, from the bosses themselves. If someone within that organization went out of their boundaries, they had to answer to the crime boss. You know, you can be taken out for that kind of stuff. Yeah. So there was structure there. Within our community, these young men and women in a lot of cases these days want to have this structured, organized crime thing going, but nobody within the boss. You're supposed to be a boss. You then control your people. You know, you seen crime mob bosses snitch on their own and get them locked up.
Come on, Terry.
But in our community, for an act like that to happen, that was out of bounds. I get it. I understand. But you see, that's out of bounds. That shouldn't be tolerated. So the bosses need to step up and say, we're not going to tolerate this. You know what I'm saying? We're going to either get this and killing on top of killing ain't going to stop nothing. But if you can say to yourself, this person killed a bunch of innocent people and they made us hot, they gotta go. So I can't sit here and say for a fact that, you know, someone stepped up and eliminated, neutralized those individuals. You know, I can't say that. I don't know. That's probably a reason why they haven't caught them yet. But I will say that for absolutely no one to cooperate with the authorities and give them, any leads is a fundamental problem in our community that we need to eliminate. We need to neutralize that way of thinking. Someone saw what happened, but they feel as though if they shouldn't say anything because they snitching and it makes them an outcast within our community. Well, I'm here to tell you that is not only wrong, the wrong way of thinking, but that is the fundamental problem that we face on a daily basis when it comes to crime in our community.
Well, Terry, and I'm going to say this, and I'm putting you on the spot, and you're doing well.
We'll get to the caller when we come back from our first break. We're getting ready to take our first break.
Terry.
And we'll be right back. The number, if you're calling from a landline, please dial 1-563-999-1808. We got about another 15 minutes remaining in the show. We will get to the callers when we come back. Please give us a call or comment on Facebook, and we'll get to your comments as well.
Go ahead on. Terry, you're great.
But that's...
Hello, this is Dr. Glenda E. Williams.
This is Charles Stewart.
Dr. Anthony Williams.
And I want to encourage you to join Church Without Walls every Monday morning from 11 a.m. to 12 noon.
And we want to encourage you to promote God's plan and not man's plan.
Don't you dare miss it.
Now New Orleans has a choice. Download the New Orleans Talk Network app for your mobile device or listen at www.neworleanstalknetwork.com.
Hi, I'm Prophetess Charlene Duforce.
And I'm Bishop Carol Duforce Sr.
And we're from Living Witnesses Ministries.
And we also have a program on the internet called Living by the Word Daily. And we're seen every Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon Central Time on the New Orleans Talk Network.
And we would like to invite you to tune in with us every Wednesday morning. Again, 11 to 12 noon Central Daylight Time. Please join us as we teach the Word of God. Thank you, and God bless.
God bless you.
It gives you better conversation about your quality of life.
Let everyone know you listen to
The New Orleans Talk Network.
This is Brother Mims with Brother Terry, and Terry's been right on target. And thank you, Terry, for letting me pick your mind, bro, about what some of the things going on, because a lot of the listeners, they need to hear that. They hear other opinions. And we got a caller on line 1. Caller, good morning. Talk what you know.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, it's Miss Jones. Hello.
Hey, good morning, Miss Jones.
Good morning, Miss Jones.
Good morning to you all. Good morning to the guests and to all the listening audience. I didn't get it earlier what he was talking about. I think it is on witnessing. Is that the topic?
Well, what we were talking about earlier, when Brother Mims mentioned the over there on Claiborne, that's why
Claiborne and Louisiana Avenue is shooting happened 3 months ago.
Yeah,
and nobody got caught.
The mass shooting, and nobody was caught, and the police have no suspects in the case. I was just saying that there was some people that saw what happened, or there was people who know what happened, and no one is saying anything, and there's a reason for that.
Right, there's got to be a reason. First of all, we have it's been a long time since we've trusted each other. People, are out of fear, and they don't know who knows what. And I always believe that the higher authorities are involved in botching things up. That's probably where the biggest problem is. And people just fear because they don't know who's going to do what. It's really heartbreaking, though. It really is.
Mike, can you give us a little bit of volume on the speaker? Let me ask you something, my sister, Miss Jones. In your community that you live in, do you think that people, your neighbors, the neighbors around the corner, just the community as a whole, how many people do you think that are in your neighborhood making your neighborhood a tough place to live, and how many people, just a rough estimate, how many people do you think that is in your neighborhood that are productive citizens?
Well, actually, a lot of people here are retired people, and because there's one of the older neighborhoods right here in Gentilly.
Uh-huh. I'm sure you have some youth in that neighborhood. I'm sure you have some.
Right.
So what's your opinion of the youth? Is the youth in the community a pretty good group of people, or is there some challenges with the youth in the community with drugs and violence and, not respecting the community?
Well, it's really unstable because every time you look around, you kind of see somebody different. About every 6 months, you wonder, where this person came from. You had
people moving out, people moving in.
Suspicious persons.
In and out.
See, people that you don't normally recognize, you see different faces. That is a fundamental problem in our. Listen, you can't walk through certain communities like that. You can't just.
Certainly can't.
You know, if you look at, I got an app on my phone, and it's a crime log app. It specifically targets New Orleans and Jefferson Parish area where I live in, and it breaks down all of the police calls in the area. And the majority of the calls that come out of certain communities, especially on the West Bank where I live at, are suspicious persons calls. If I look at my community, there's a lot of calls about domestic violence calls that go out, shooting calls that go out. Not a lot of suspicious persons calls, and we don't want to call a police.
Exactly. That's because we're not getting the service for the taxes that we pay.
And that's another problem. That's another problem that we have to deal with. And the Sheriff LaPinto was on the station yesterday. We were talking about updates in the community and stuff like that. And I know Orleans Parish has had a lot of problems with dispatching officers to calls. They started prioritizing calls. So, you know, to call on a suspicious person in Orleans right now, you may not get a cop come out. That is an issue.
Tomorrow.
That's an issue but I can say that they are working on it. You know, it's going to take time to get that fixed. It's a little bit different in Jefferson Parish. You know, they don't prioritize calls. All calls are priority. So that's another topic right there, my sister. But that is a legit topic, and maybe we should talk about that one day. Whoa. But the youth in our community, we have to know who our youth is, and we have to know who they are on the first name basis. As a child that grew up in my community, the elders in our community did not allow us to walk past them without us speaking and saying who we were.
That is for certain. That is definitely.
They used to, but who your people is. If they didn't know you,
I think
they're asking who your people is.
Yep.
And if you resemble somebody, they say you must be this person's child, live around the corner. I'm familiar with that.
Fundamentally, I believe that had an effect on us as a group of kids in our community, because I believe that the elders in our community, the youth in our community understood that the elders knew who we were, and that we couldn't get away with a lot. You know, we had to be discreet in what we was doing, because the elders will let our people know what's going on. Them boys around there smoking weed and drinking alcohol.
You that Mim boy, you Mim son.
Definitely.
You know, so when you walk in the house, you had, you know, so I mean, we have to be able to communicate with our youth in our community and understand who they are and who their people is, you know. And I don't know if we've gotten away from that, because it's us 80s babies, and I'm talking to us 80s babies right now because we all 30, okay? Us 80s babies need to step this up, you know, and start identifying the youth in the community and speaking with you know, the patriarchs and the matriarchs in our community, and helping bridge that gap with the patriarchs and matriarchs in our community and the youth. And us 80s babies, we're the gap.
Come on.
If y'all haven't realized it yet, we are the gap, and it's our duty as American citizens to bridge that gap between the youth and the elders in our community, because when we was coming up, the 60s babies did it. The 80s and the 70s babies did it. They made sure that the 80s babies stayed in line. And a lot of us went astray, you know, some of us went astray, but now that we've grown and we're approaching 40, you know, if you raise a child right, they gonna go astray, but they coming back.
Coming back.
Right, and I think, you know, something, you know, I embrace technology to a certain extent, but that has a lot to do with it, you know, instead of live, face-to-face conversation, just being around each other like they do on what quote-unquote Thanksgiving. People gather around. This needs to be done maybe just all year round without, in fact, I think application of Kwanzaa might help a lot if people would recognize it more.
I mean,
you know, sort of.
I honestly believe it's a lost cause at this point, and it's hard for me to say this, generational, dealing with generations. 2000 until 2018, we've lost 95 to 2005. We've lost. Our kids are disconnected in big rates in our community. And again, it's up to us 80s babies. We understand the technology. We grew up in that era where technology has transitioned to our primary source of communication. So us 80s babies, and I'm always beating us down. I'm always fighting with us. I'm always dialoguing with my peers about our responsibilities for the youth in our community. We have to have an impact because the ones who are responsible for a lot of violence in the community, they are 18, 19, 20 years old. These children was born in the 90s and early 2000s. They're Katrina babies, and they've been traumatized.
Exactly. And they don't have too much of a clue of anything that's going on.
Come on, Mr. Jones.
And how to do it. That's why no matter how they do, we still have to keep saying it. This is our history.
Exactly.
This story, our story. We have to continue saying it, continue. And somehow, you bring in a way that it should be, they'll never forget.
And you have... Okay, our producer was, I'm sorry, our producer was letting us know that we have 3 minutes left in the show.
Okay.
Ms. Jones, I appreciate you. And call us back. We really want to have that conversation, and Ms. Linda Lewis had commented on it, about the prioritizing of calls in our community and stuff like that. And maybe we can have the chief come on and assist us, a liaison from Orleans Parish to come on and talk to us, because if we have suspicious persons in our community and the community starts reaching out to the police department and saying, listen, there's a suspicious gentleman walking up and down the street in a neighborhood. I never saw him before. It's broad daylight,
Come on, Terry.
and you don't get a police call come out. That is a problem. And it sort of like makes a person say there's no hope for that situation.
You see something and you say something and nothing being done.
There's no hope there, so why should I even jeopardize my safety for calling the police when the police don't even show up?
Ms. Jones, I want to personally thank you for who you are and what you do, and we need more Mrs. Joneses in our communities, and I want you to know that you are our icon. I know you think that I'm embarrassing you, but I want you to know you are Thanksgiving. You are who you are. You're a real person.
I'll just say I try. I try.
And I appreciate you. My last name just so happened to be Jones too, Miss Jones. The Joneses be deep in the phone book. You'll find a lot of us. And it's something about that last name, Jones. So I appreciate you for calling my sister and
I want to keep up with the Joneses.
Yes, now this is the way. Yeah, keep up with the Joneses, not the financial and economic. Try to keep up. And people, Black Fridays, I want to throw one thing in. Black Fridays for the businesses to make the population who run out there purchasing in the red. Is an old concept in the bookkeeping when you did it hand by hand. Everything written in black, your journal and ledger. But if you wrote in red, that meant the business was kind of losing. So Black Friday is for them. They up the prices. I don't know how much. Then they're going to bring it down 23%, 15%. Think you got a sale, and it's higher than the original price. That's Black Friday.
I just spent in Walmart on a loaf of bread, $3. That's normally $1.50. So I understand. It ain't no such thing as a Black Friday for all of us, because for some that have money to go out and spend $2,500 on a special day, for most of us, we don't have that kind of money. Right. So I would like for Walmart not to raise the price of the bread so somebody can buy a TV for $150 off.
That's the way they do. They up the price twice of what it is other than December, during the time other than December. And then they'll tell you, well, you got 15% off when they raise it up about 23%.
Yeah.
And I just want to take this time to say thank you, God, for people like you. Thank you for Terry coming on today. He made my day. I sit back and watch him say some things that are true, and I pray that the community, those brothers who are on Facebook and sisters, that they learn something because ain't nobody gonna save us. We gotta do what we gotta do.
And we need more people to listen. I think if every black person in the city was listening here, this or any station, that's, for us, they would learn a lot and have a change. They're not informed. It's hard informing them. That's the biggest problem.
Well, I want to thank you, Mrs. Jones.
Okay.
I want to thank you. I love you, and I'll talk to you very
talk
soon.
To you later.
All right.
And just one last announcement as the show goes off. Miss Linda Lewis, she left a number. Let me read. I'm sorry. Call in to meet your community police officers on a monthly basis to give them your 411 personally. And the number was 1-510-355-6075. 1-510-355-6075. So I'm assuming that's a number you can call. To you meet with your community police officers and maybe discuss some of the issues going on in the community. We got to get them on. We got to get the chief on.
I promise you.
His lovely wife, she's so beautiful. She's been here. Okay. So Chief, this is your wife been here, and she's lovely, and I appreciate all the hard work she does in the community. And we would love to have you on, Chief of Police, so we can talk about some of the things that's going on in the community, especially what's going on. What's the update? Chief Harrison.
Oh, okay, that's my friend.
Yes, give us an update on that on the call system. How that's coming along. We know it's been some struggles with it. But give us an update about it. How is it coming along? What can we expect going into 2019 with our citizens calling the police, especially on this suspicious activity?
And this is Brother Mims with my special guest and honor, Terry. This is Brother Mims. We'll see you next week. Talk with hostages that fight back. Hey, if you got a solution, action speaks louder than words.
Me and my Mrs. Jones, Mrs. Jones, Mrs. Jones.
#8255, the New Orleans Talk Network.